Fire Emblem Echoes is at this time one of the most respected games within the franchise, due in large part to its unique mechanics, excellent art direction, engrossing story, lovable characters, and unique mechanics. But I find it to be a slog to play through, and so in order to vindicate myself and my opinion, I'm going to spend the rest of this video arguing that Fire Emblem Echoes is a bad game. Echoes is a remake of an old, ancient game called Fire Emblem Gaiden for the Super Famicom. And while remakes should stay faithful to their source material, they also shouldn't copy and paste the map design of a 20-year-old game. Seriously, what am I looking at here? Can we enhance that image? It's just a single map with a cancer on it. What's going on here?
We should have a single map with a cancer on it.
At least half the maps in this game are just empty fields. All of the dungeon and world map encounters are like this, and thus they are throwaway battles, presenting no interesting tactical challenges for the player. This is indefensible, and you know that the boys over at Intelligent Systems are true artisans, because they made the bold artistic decision of making every indoor floor tile in this game grant plus 20 avoid. It just makes battles take longer, but hey, it's about that experience, right? Echoes is not a strictly linear game. You can revisit any areas you've already been to, and many locations present an opportunity for infinite grinding. And while grinding makes the game accessible for new players, it also removes a layer of strategy that they may have enjoyed. In Fire Emblem games without grinding, the player performs a balancing act between two contrary goals. The goals of leveling their units up and keeping them alive. These goals are contrary to each other because each attempt to level a unit up places them at risk of death, but shielding units from the risk of death entirely prevents them from leveling up. Doesn't that force the player to continually make a risk versus reward analysis, imbuing every battle with a sense of tension? Grinding does not ruin the game. You can ignore grinding, but you cannot successfully defend a game mechanic by arguing that it can be ignored. If a game gives me such an abundance of healing items that all combat is trivialized, then the game has made a mistake, even if I can willfully restrict myself from using those healing items. But the worst part is that I lied to you. This game does force you to grind in a variety of ways. For a reason that escapes my puny comprehension, certain areas of the world map infinitely spawn enemies. There if you want to.
You don't have to
use
grind.
it.
You don't have to
It's
grind.
optional. You don't have to engage with this mechanic. And you have to revisit dungeons because they're the only place that you can promote your
No,
units.
you don't have to revisit dungeons. You can always just press on to the next dungeon past the relevant story missions.
Well, if you would just open your fucking eyes, you would see that on the world map, every move a player takes spawns an extra enemy encounter, meaning that the player chooses between grinding at dungeons or grinding on the world map. And the cherry on top is that this literally hurts your promotions. The promotion system here is unique in that each class has a set of baseline stats. When a unit is promoted, all of their stats are raised to this baseline level. If a unit's stat is already at the given class's baseline level, then that stat remains unaffected by promotion. This means that it's always in your best interest to promote immediately, because each level gained past the unit's promotion level cheapens the gains from their promotion. And seeing as you'll be grinding in either an open field or a dungeon just to get to a spot where you can promote your units, your promotion gains are necessarily
You
cheapened.
don't have to grind in dungeons when you go back to promote Bozo Platypus. You can just run past all the enemies very easily.
So you admit that the game forces you to engage in a tedious action just to promote.
No, that's not what I said. No.
Okay, that got a little out of hand. I insulted you. I insulted a game that you love. And in the end, I was no better than the villains of this game, attacking ideals I don't understand, just for the pleasure of it. I'm sorry. Let's do what Alm and Celica couldn't and say sorry to each other. I hope that we can be friends.